All right, everybody, welcome back. Thank you for joining me this evening. We are live now with multiple storms in Texas that are producing wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour and hail up to potentially golf ball sized, okay? We do have a severe thunderstorm warning right now for the Guthrie area for those specific threats. If you're in Guthrie, this did just barely miss you, all right? You're fine. It's going to pass you. We do have a couple embedded areas of rotation within this little storm here, so we may even see a brief spin-up tornado somewhere down here. This severe thunderstorm warning has just recently been issued for the Crowell area for the threat of 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts and ping-pong ball-sized hail. So make sure that you are taking shelter immediately on the lowest floor possible of a building, away from windows whenever that storm approaches, because those damaging winds and large hail are going to cause significant damage to roofs, cars, power lines, trees, shingles. All right, there's going to be possibly even like pieces of sheet metal flying around, all right? So you got to make sure that you are taking cover and taking that seriously, because in incidents like this, flying debris can be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Now, that's usually a phrase you hear with tornado warnings, but it can be true for severe thunderstorms if the winds are high enough, and 70-mile-per-hour winds are nothing to play around with, okay? In addition to this, we do have our storms now firing off that I mentioned last time in portions of Nebraska and South Dakota. These are actually expected to be the big storms of the night, all right? They're still having a little bit of a tough time getting going, but this one off to the west of Valentine is actually producing golf ball sized hail now, so make sure that you are getting away from windows there. That's near Kilgore at the minute, right over Highway 20. We did just actually get a new severe thunderstorm warning that's going to be there in I believe it's in Nebraska. Or no, that's the one right there that we just talked about in Nebraska. Did I say South Dakota? I meant Nebraska if I said South Dakota for that storm. But we did just get a new severe thunderstorm warning. That's actually out here in Virginia, I do believe. Yeah, it is. That is going to be for the threat of wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. So watch out for that there. But our main storms in the plains are actually starting to fire off now, all right? We're not just waiting for them to happen while watching the mid-Atlantic storms. No, these storms are going, and they're starting to go good, all right? The sun is beginning to set in a couple of these spots here, but we are still going to go ahead and bring up these live cams anyway, because they provide us with a pretty good look at what the conditions are right now across portions of Texas, Oklahoma, and we'll also bring up the one there from Burlington, Kansas. So there you go. That's what things are looking like right now in those three locations. Pretty windy, very overcast. We may see some storms rolling on those cams. It just depends on where these specific storms head. Again, the ones down in Texas, they are actually rotating quite a bit here. That is partial contamination. They're not rotating quite as much as it looks like here on radar. But there is definitely a little bit of embedded rotation in this little supercell here, so you got to look out for that. We may see a tornado warning get issued if that kind of activity continues, so you should be taking shelter anyway, like I did mention, because those 70-mile-per-hour winds are the same force as a low-end EF0 tornado there. Again, the storm is going to be crossing Highway 70 here as it approaches the Crowell area in Texas. Right there at the intersection of Highway 70 and Highway 6. So look out for that. Make sure that you are seeking shelter there in Crowell once that storm does approach. We do actually have a severe warning storm now in LaGrange, Kentucky, or LaGrange, Indiana, rather. This is about to cross over the Ohio River into Kentucky, though. This is a storm capable of producing half-dollar-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, so make sure that you are getting indoors away from windows there. Some of our supercells in St. Louis are kind of firing off. They're not really supercells per se, but there are some minor storms here to the south of the St. Louis metro there. We did talk about those forming, and it is starting to happen. But overall, that's not the main threat. The main areas of concern are going to be in the plains today. We do not have a tornado on the ground yet, but we do have some damaging thunderstorms here. Again, I think a tornado warning may be issued for one of those storms if they continue to rotate that well down there in Texas. And then we've also got our golf ball-sized hailstorm that just moved through Kilgore. Probably see some reports out of that relatively soon from the Kilgore area, hopefully, so that we know what's really going on there. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning that is going to be in... They're not popping up at the bottom of the screen like they're supposed to, so it's confusing me. Dang it. That's up here in South Dakota. That is an extension for the storm that we were just talking about. Producing the golf ball-sized hail, it still is as it approaches St. Francis, South Dakota. So again, make sure that you are getting away from windows, preferably in the middle of your house. Because that is some very large hail. Oh, saw some lightning on the Norman, Oklahoma cam there. It's gone gray for some reason. I don't know why that is. Maybe that wasn't the Norman, Oklahoma cam we saw that on. It may have actually been from the German, Texas cam. I don't know. I definitely saw a lightning strike, though. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it just looked like that because the Norman, Oklahoma cam went to gray and it fixed again. So maybe not. It just looked weird. I thought it was lightning. I really did. So again, we do have a severe thunderstorm currently in northwest Texas that is producing damaging wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour, and the threat for ping-pong ball-sized hail. Take cover now. It's a dangerous storm there moving in. Just make sure that you are seeking shelter there on the lowest floor of a building. Definitely away from windows. If you do have time ahead of that storm, I would recommend protecting your cars and potentially even bringing your pets inside. But that's... again, if you have time. If it's, right on your doorstep, then obviously you're not going to want to do that. If you're in Truscott, you don't have time. Well, maybe you do. You may have a couple minutes in Truscott, but it'll be dicey. But, if you're in Crowell, you've got some time, alright? Make sure that you are taking your proper precautions there. Alright. So again, we're also watching the storm on the Nebraska-South Dakota border there. It is producing severe hail and damaging wind gusts. Let's see. What kind of mesoscales do we have in effect right now? Okay, so we do actually have a mesoscale for the severe thunderstorm watch out here in the mid-Atlantic area. The risk for damaging gusts and hail will continue this evening. And that is until 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. So we're looking at a continuation of the damaging wind gusts associated with those severe thunderstorms. Again, the Norman, Oklahoma cam went gray, and it looked like lightning, but it just went gray for some reason. And it'll go back in a few minutes if it does like it did last time. And there we go. Yeah, it's back. That's so weird. I've never seen that happen before. Not just on that cam, but ever on Radar Omega cams on the Cyclone Port network. Again, this storm is producing just a little bit of rotation here in northwest Texas. That's off to the north and the east of Guthrie, Texas. That rotating storm is going to be approaching Crowell. So again, Crowell, we do recommend that you take cover from this storm. So in addition to that rotation, it is also producing 70 mile per hour damaging wind gusts and hail potentially up to golf ball size in diameter. We do actually have quite a big pickup on rotation on the storm near Geneview. Actually, that could be contamination. Yeah, that's contamination, I'm pretty sure. Again, even this rotation has a little bit of contamination associated with it, but it's still, there is definitely at least a little bit of rotation. So this storm here, the one on the south side, the one that just passed through Aspermont, is also now warned for golf ball size hail and 70 mile per hour winds. So both of these are dangerous, damaging thunderstorms, for sure. Again, this is in northwest Texas. Look out for those, seriously, guys. And then we've also got our storms up in Nebraska and South Dakota that are producing that golf bowl-sized hail and 60 mile per hour damaging winds. The Norman, Oklahoma cam went gray again. I don't know what's causing that, but it is. We do have some downburst winds approaching the Wayanoke and Rustic as well as Williamsburg area and Virginia here. You guys are under a severe thunderstorm warning because the storm is producing damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. Or at least it's capable of doing that. And we do have at least some 53 mile per hour gusts reported from this storm already. So it's at least 50 to 55 mile per hour winds, maybe 60. Power outages will likely result from that. Speaking of power outages, let's actually take a look at the power outages in Texas right now. Let's take a look at the map. The state outages in Texas are currently up to 1,600. Earlier they were at 2,000, so some of those are getting restored now, which is good. Nebraska's at 315 now. South Dakota's only at 18. Virginia's actually at 15,000. That's actually quite a bit. And that is from those downburst damaging winds. We got about every 1 in 200 people almost without power right now in Virginia. And that's about 15,000 people without power in Virginia alone. Let's take a look at the counties that got hit hardest. Yeah, a lot of these are from high winds here in New Mexico, not associated with the storms, just high winds in general in the mountains and stuff. Winter, South Dakota, we did have a storm move through your area earlier, and there were some power outages there. There are quite a few counties out here in Virginia and West Virginia that are without power for quite a few people. This storm that we're still tracking, that I was talking about doing damaging winds, did cause quite a few power outages in the Ashland area. Trees down, roads blocked by trees, trees down, dime to nickel sized hail. So, yeah. Alright, back to our storms down in Texas, the main show right now, really. Again, we do have this severe thunderstorm warning now for this new storm. So, I know areas like Guthrie just got hit. You're about to get hit again. Or actually, the storm missed Guthrie, but there's going to be a storm that's now coming in, taking a very similar track to that right now, coming in. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning that is going to be in South Carolina. On the North Carolina-South Carolina border, we have had quite a few storms actually pop up here pretty unexpectedly that have become severe relatively quickly, actually. And we just got another one of those. In the Rocky Bottom area, you got a severe storm coming in. The main threat with this is going to be damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour and then potentially some hail up to 1 inch in diameter isolated. All right. So, again, we do have our severe thunderstorms in Texas that are producing damaging winds, large hail. Again, I do want to stress, if you are under a 70 mile per hour wind and ping pong or golf ball sized hail warning right now in Texas, it's time for you to go. It's time for you to get underground and shelter. I'm specifically most concerned about this new one, actually. That is going to take a similar path to the last one. It's going to go off to the south and the east of Guthrie, and it's going to cross over Highway 82 here, as well as 222. And then also our other one here is pretty significant, too. It's just a little lower on the hail threat. It's still doing 70 mile per hour damaging wind gusts, though, as it approaches Ford City and Truscott. So take shelter. Eventually, it is going to hit Crowell. Crowell's a pretty big town up here. Compared to these other little communities. So make sure that you are prepared for that, Crowell. And again, these storms are rotating just a tad bit. But a lot of it is contamination, I will admit. We do have quite a few strong storms out here in eastern Wyoming as well. Actually, surprisingly. I mean, it wasn't a surprise necessarily, but it kind of feels weird, because Wyoming, I mean, they don't get severe weather events like this very often, We have another new severe thunderstorm warning. That is going to be for it's another warning for one of the storms down here in Texas. Which warning is the new one? Or is that not a new warning? This might be it. Yeah, this is it. So that's a new severe thunderstorm warning. Ping pong ball-sized hail and 70-mile-per-hour winds. That's an extension for this storm. I know it's confusing with all the mess of polygons, but all those are dangerous storms. We also got another new severe thunderstorm warning all the way out in Virginia. This is to the south and the west of Richmond. Richmond's already gotten hit pretty hard so far, but there is more coming. The storm is going to be capable of producing 1-inch in diameter hail and wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. Look out for that. Get indoors now. Again, I know it looks like a mess here with all these polygons, but anywhere in these, if you're in these warnings, you need to be taking shelter. Our storm near Spring Creek in South Dakota, it may be rotating just a little bit. If not, it's at least a pocket of higher winds here. We've got 75-mile-per-hour damaging winds, 0.4 degrees off the surface. But really, it's not even that high up because this area is mountainous. So we could have an upgrade to this severe warning, potentially 70-mile-per-hour winds with this. And let's go back to our Virginia storms. A little bit on the weaker side, but they are still pretty intense. Still some downburst damaging winds and large hail. And again, this is, I mean, a mess of polygons out here. The rotation has pretty much died out with these storms. It was very minimal anyway. Most of what it was contamination, but there was a little bit, but not anymore. The rotation here is not as impressive as it was last radar scan either, for sure. It's not quite as tight and confined. Again, guys, our biggest storms are out in Texas right now. Northwest Texas is getting slammed by 70-mile-per-hour damaging winds and hail up to ping pong ball size. Again, nothing really tornadic yet, which is good. I don't want to make it sound like that's a bad thing. We're still waiting for Kansas's severe weather initiation. That is not expected to be later until this evening anyway, but Let's go ahead and take another run through of the models. We haven't done that yet this stream. Let's take a look at the NAM. We see we're specifically going to be focused on Kansas here because I imagine there's a lot of people that are sitting in Kansas thinking, where's the weather? All right, it's all around us, but it's not hitting us like it was supposed to. It'll come, all right? Let's go ahead and play this out. So, this is right now. Or this is actually a couple hours out. All right, we're going to start to see some showers and maybe a couple of storms develop at around 8 p.m. What is this on the Burlington, Kansas cam? There's a lot of dust. There's a lot of blowing dust. I guess a car went by or something. But this is 8 p.m. This is 9 p.m. We are going to see the activation time here around Liberal, Kansas and Dodge City, Kansas be at about 9 to 10 p.m. All right, around 10 p.m. we got that cluster of storms moving through Dodge City, Spearville. It's then going to approach Great Bend at around 11 midnight. All right, it's approaching Hutchinson, 1 a.m. Wichita. You're in the path of this, and then it'll continue throughout Kansas. So Kansas is a nocturnal threat, right? It's not like these storms where they're popping off in the afternoon and evening time hours. Kansas is going to be an overnight thing. For sure. But anyway, I just want to explain why everybody in Kansas, if anybody was wondering, why they haven't gotten anything yet. We do have an update to this severe thunderstorm warning, by the way. It is now capable of producing 70-mile-per-hour damaging wind gusts and Easter egg-sized hail, which is even more dangerous. So, yeah, again, you really need to be taking shelter here. It's looking like the worst of this will stay off to the west of Crowell, Texas. So that's good. If you're in Crowell, you might get some wind, some hail, but you're not going to get the worst of it, most likely. The worst of it's going to be off to the west of you near Highway 70. At least, hopefully it is. But we could see this curve a bit more to the east, and we may see a direct impact on Crowell. So it might be a good time to just, go over your precautionary plan anyways. If there was a tornado, what would you be doing right now? You might as well do that, because what do you really lose by taking shelter? Nothing. But if something bad happened and you didn't take shelter, you could lose everything. The storm up here in South Dakota, by the way, has been downgraded from golf ball-sized hail to ping-pong ball-sized hail, which is still big hail. Make sure that you are getting away from windows up there. It's approaching Parmalee and just went past St. Francis, it looks like. So, look out for that. St. Francis is not getting the worst of it. The worst of it's going to be off to the west of you. LaGrange isn't Kentucky. I said earlier it was in Indiana. I was thinking the interstate was the state line there, but no, it's not. I was thinking that red line for the interstate was the state line, but it is not. LaGrange, Kentucky, you do have a pretty big storm coming in. I should have known that. There was a LaGrange, Kentucky tornado, like, a month ago. This is a broadcast media report of 60-mile-per-hour damaging wind gusts and half-dollar-sized hail. So, this is a confirmed dangerous storm coming into LaGrange. So, you gotta look out for that, for sure. And Virginia, let's get an update for you guys. Again, we're watching so many different areas this time. It's not like last time where we were watching one area, and one area specifically. It was Pennsylvania. It's the complete opposite this time. We're looking at a little bit in Virginia, a little bit in Kentucky, a little bit in Texas, a little bit in Nebraska, a little bit in South Dakota, even some in Missouri that may start to pop off. And, I mean, here you go, guys. These are definitely some small hail makers, if nothing else. Maybe a little bit of gusty winds on a couple of these. Like this one here, you can definitely see there is a velocity signature there of at least some gusty winds. So these are not going to be anything insane. Again, they're going to be weaker, maybe an isolated strong to severe storm, but I do want to let you guys know that they are here. And these are heading north off to the western part of the St. Louis metro area, the St. Louis suburbs, really. And you guys, this storm is capable of producing Easter egg-sized hail and 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts, so take that seriously. Respect the polygon. Take cover if you are in the polygon. We do have a new mesoscale for the tornado watch here in portions of Texas and Oklahoma. Literally, all it says is the severe risk continues. And that's until 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. So, severe risk continues. We're not done. We will get a new SPC update in a little over an hour, most likely, at the 8 p.m. Central update.
What's up, buddy?
All right. Again, our storms right now near Richmond. They're going to the southwest of the metro towards Winterpock with some large hail and damaging winds. So look out for that one. Make sure that you are getting indoors there, preferably away from windows, but at the bare minimum, make sure that you are at least getting indoors, please. Again, I don't want to underplay this storm here in Texas. This is our biggest one right now. Again, potentially producing 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts and 2-inch in diameter hail. Wind-driven hail and flying lawn items may be dangerous to those caught without shelter. When I say lawn items, I mean like if somebody has like a lawn chair out or if they have like a potted plant out, those are going to go flying and they could get thrown at you. So make sure that you are getting indoors and underground. And even like pieces of roofs, shingles, like sheet metal. And if those bust into your windows, those are going to be on the first floor of your house. So if you can't get underground, at least get to the middle of your house. If you are in a mobile home, you're going to need to find a more substantial shelter. Because mobile homes are not built to design 70 mile per or designed to withstand 70 mile per hour wind gusts. Alright. Nothing crazy in terms of a tornado threat with any of the storms going on right now. This is already a severe weather outbreak, though, for the mid-Atlantic storms and the plain storms. Both of them have already qualified as severe weather outbreaks. We will likely see a new severe warning here for our storm near LaGrange, Kentucky, as this warning expires in 8 minutes and it's about to leave the warning box. So if you're in like imminent, expect a severe warning to be imminent. You see what I did there? Okay, I'll stop. And there may be a little bit of rotation here on this next velocity scan. We do have a hook echo trying to develop, it looked like, but no, there's not any rotation. Never mind. We did just get this storm off to the east of it, get special weather statement warned for the Owenton area, so look out for that. The storm will be capable of producing 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts and half-inch in diameter hail as it approaches you. It's likely going to go on the west side of town. So anyway, we do have, one of our severe warnings did get dropped out here, because the storm has left the warning polygon. Look at that. That is one of the nicest views I've ever seen. This is right now, guys. It looks like this. This is a screensaver-worthy picture here. The only thing killing it is the wind shaking around the camera a bunch. Never realized how beautiful Mount Shasta looked. Especially from this angle. Because again, whenever we're looking at it, it's usually like all snowy and dreary. Because that's why we're looking at it. Usually. We'd have quite a few warnings that do expire in 5 minutes. Quite a few severe warnings that expire in 5 minutes. So if some of them don't get reissued, we will be left with at least less than 9 warnings, because that's where we're at right now in terms of severe thunderstorm warnings. And we got a new severe thunderstorm warning that is down here in Texas. It's an extension. The storm is now down to half-dollar-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. That is a huge downgrade, which is good. It was Easter egg-sized hail and 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. It is still a pretty dangerous storm. You're still going to want to be getting away from windows, bringing your car inside if you have time, near Chillicothe and Quanah here, as well as El Dorado in Texas. Or actually, El Dorado's in Oklahoma. This is on the Oklahoma-Texas border there. So we are now at 10 severe thunderstorm warnings. Let's take a look at our storms at St. Louis for fun. Nothing crazy. And they're not expected to be anything crazy. Same thing with these ones down here in southeast Illinois. Actually, this one is, it's doing at least a little bit of small hail to the south of Wayne City. That is approaching Wayne City, I do believe. Yeah, that is moving north towards Wayne City. So Wayne City in Illinois, maybe getting a little bit of a hail bag soon. Does that make sense? A hail bag? I don't think that does. Okay. Anyway. Alright, we have 3 minutes left until a lot of these severe thunderstorm warnings expire. And only one of them's gotten reissued so far, it sounds like, so that's good. Looks like a lot of them are going to get dropped here. There is about a huge amount of large hail about to hit Winter Park, as well as damaging winds. It's only warned for 1 inch in diameter hail, but we could see an isolated stone larger than that. And 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts may be possible with that storm in a couple spots as well. Our storm now has pretty much entirely crossed the Ohio River here on the Indiana-Kentucky border. LaGrange, Kentucky is the northwest side is starting to get hit by this hail most likely. If you do have any large hail reports or any severe weather reports at all, really, send those in to your National Weather Service, your local one. For LaGrange, Kentucky, that would be Louisville. There's always the meme how people outside of Kentucky say Louisville, but no, I know. I don't live in Kentucky, and I know it's Louisville. These storms in South Dakota, like this one to the north of Somerset, I mean, it's growing so quickly. That's going to get severe warnings soon, surely. That is some huge hail, probably doing quite a few damaging wind gusts as well. Yeah. Definitely a velocity signature on that of some sort. We are now up to 17 damage and wind reports and 36 large hail reports from today. And those numbers are only going to get higher, unfortunately. New severe thunderstorm warning. It's in South Dakota, and it is for that storm that, or no, it's not for the storm I just mentioned. Oh my goodness, another new one. This one's going to be for the Kadoka area. 1.25 inch hail, 60 mile per hour winds. Look out for that. And then the other one that we just got in is somewhere that I am not aware of. Oh, it's an extension for the one in Kentucky. So now we did have 2 that got extended, but we are down to 8. There you go. A lot of them just expired. We went from 9 to 8 in total from before any of them got reissued to now. So we dropped one of them at least, which is something. That's some sort of progress. Actually, we dropped a few of. I think we dropped 2 of them, but one of these got issued. This storm is going to be crossing Interstate 90 near Kadoka, so if you're anywhere traveling on Interstate 90 between Belvedere and Wichita, just don't. Really, Interstate 90 in South Dakota is a dangerous place to be traveling right now. There are a lot of storms capable of producing large hail and damaging wind gusts here. Again, this one should really get severe warned. It has just kind of popped up all of a sudden, so maybe the National Weather Service is in the progress of warning one, and it's just taking a minute, but okay, we have a much clearer polygon setup here now. Neither of these storms are as dangerous as they were, which is good. This one's down to 1 inch hail and 60 mile per hour winds. This one's down to 1.25 inch hail and 60 mile per hour winds. So both major downgrades there, which is good. We are left with not even any considerable severe thunderstorm warnings. So what I am going to do here is end off the live stream and come back whenever something more significant happens. We will be live if there are any tornado warnings. That's a guarantee. Any destructive severe thunderstorm warnings, I'll likely be back for. So stay tuned into the channel, and I will see you guys next time.